I wanted to get on here and speak about, as parents, you got to let your kids be kids sometimes, right? But let's talk about this topic. How do you guys feel? Or let me let me rephrase it like this. Do you guys draw a line with your children on what activities you feel are dangerous or activities that you feel like they are capable of doing safely? Is there lines that you guys will say, you know what? You can't get on that. You can't get on that roller coaster. Like, are there lines that you guys, as in your parenting, are there lines that you guys draw where you say, I don't feel comfortable, this doesn't look safe, and I don't know if I want you doing that? Now, please, when you watch this, please like, share, subscribe so we can get some more parents on here, because it's important topics that I want to cover, and I need more eyes on the channel. So let's get into it. So, honestly, as a parent of two girls, there are some activities where I just feel are very dangerous. I'm not gonna lie. I'll tell you about one particular activity that I feel is crazy. Like, every time I see my girls on this activity, like, I feel like my anxiety increases. I'm not gonna lie. And that activity is any kind of trampoline. My anxiety increases with just observing my children inside of this little contraption. Even if it's a big contraption, I still feel like it's so worrying for me. Like, my anxiety goes up in these things because I feel like so many kids have gotten hurt inside of these things. Like, the fact that your child can bounce independently inside these things, high up in the air, and the probability of them landing awkwardly on their arm, their leg, or another child, I see that going so wrong inside my mind. And it's like, it's crazy. Welcome in, whoever joined. Thank you for coming in. So I'm talking about the scary activities that our children. What's up, Nora? How you doing? Talking about the scary activities that children do nowadays. And as parents, what do you feel? Do you feel comfortable with your child doing some of these activities? So some of the activities that I did mention before was the trampoline. I was saying I feel so uncomfortable with my children going onto the trampoline. And I'm gonna tell you why. The trampoline, I feel, when your child jumps on the trampoline. What's up, Kabara? How you doing? When your child jumps on the trampoline, high in the air, right? I feel like the probability of your child landing on their elbow, landing on their leg awkwardly, I feel like the probability of that happening increases. And maybe it's just me, because I know that one thing kind of like makes me a little paranoid. And I don't know how you guys feel about certain contraptions that our children do, and we call it fun, right? So, excuse me, guys. So that's one thing that I just feel unsafe with. Another thing, I'm gonna say something else. Some certain fun parks, like I'm gonna make an example of one that I'm trying to get the name of one in my head right now. Thrills. Thrills is like an amusement kind of trampoline park, and it's popular for kids. A lot of kids can go there. They run around. They do various activities, and a lot of the times during these activities, kids get lost. I don't know if you guys have experienced your children getting lost in these kind of places. And to be quite honest, it's very easy for your children to get lost. even if you're supervising your children well. And I'm going to tell you why. In these kind of places, they have a lot of nooks and crannies that your child can go underneath, crawl in, go around. So there's plenty of spots that your child can hide in, and you will lose focus of your child very easily. So I've been in these situations where I was like watching my daughter, and I'm like, all right, so she's down here, she's moving around, and I'm watching, and I'm like, time out, where did she go? So she's going all around a certain area, and I'm like, okay, I just seen her just now, but where is she now? So those kind of areas are like situations where you really need to watch your children. And it's like, it's scary. It's like scary situations. So some other situations that I could say is like, if you feel comfortable with your child doing certain activities, like climbing a tree, for example. Do any of you guys feel comfortable with your children climbing a tree? Or would you say it depends on their age? My thing is, if you're going to climb a tree, I feel like you got to be a certain age, right? Because you have to know exactly what you're doing when you're climbing a tree. You can't just have a small child climbing a tree. And me personally, even if my child is older, I don't know if I would feel comfortable with my child climbing a tree, because the risk of the child falling, risk of a child falling is, it increases. So you really have to be careful with that and understand what you're getting into and what you're allowing your child to do. There are different activities. There's another activity that I just feel, what's going on? Thanks for coming into the room. We're talking about what you feel comfortable with your child doing, what activities you feel comfortable and don't feel an anxiety attack coming on when your child is doing. I'm gonna bring up another example. When my child, my oldest child, recently went zip lining. She went zip lining recently at a little fun park, amusement park. It was one of those indoor parks. I did not feel comfortable, but she wanted to go on because she was on a play date with her friends. So she managed to go on. She had fun, but was I comfortable with this? Not at all. Because my heart was like beating so hard. I was like, I don't know if I want her to be doing this. This was before she actually went on. And I was just like, she wants to go because she sees her friends going. But we as parents, we see situations where we want to say no to certain things, but then it's almost like peer pressure with the parents' version. You see other parents letting their children do certain things, and then it's like, I don't know. I don't know if I feel comfortable. So I don't know if I was really pressured into it, or it was just, all right, let me let her be a kid for once. You know what I mean? Because there's certain situations where we have to let our children enjoy themselves, because we as parents, for the most part, we're going to think with our adult logical brain. That's the brain we're going to think with. Our children, they're not thinking with that same kind of brain. They're thinking from a kid's perspective. They're thinking with their kid brain. And their kid brain just wants to have fun. So I'm like, you want to go on this roller coaster or do something like really crazy? What's up, people? Thank you for joining. I'm talking about activities that kids like to do. And as parents, do you feel comfortable with your kids doing these things? So my daughter wanted to go onto, it was like a roller coaster. And me, I am not a roller coaster person at all. I will admit that to the heavens and back down to the earth. Not at all. So she wanted to go on the roller coaster, and I'm like, I actually went onto one of them with her, and I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. Like, it was one of those situations where I was basically dragged onto this ride. And I just felt uncomfortable the entire time. Like I did not want to do it. And honestly, I'm just like, all right, so let me just go on this one time with her, and then we'll see where it goes from there. But then again, she wanted to go on to another ride, and I was like, I don't know about this one now. Like she has that personality where she enjoys like the thrill of a roller coaster and it going fast. Me, I love my feet on the ground. I'm gonna be honest. My feet on the ground is the best kind of thrill to me. Best thrill, hands down. But a lot of these kids, they want to go onto these roller coasters. They're so adventurous. They want to go onto like the super high bungee cord. And I'm like, oh no, we're not doing any of that. Anything that I gotta sign a waiver for you to do, especially, you could forget about it. You could forget all about that. There are certain ways that parents, you know, some of us feel comfortable with our kids doing certain things. And then there's other times when it's like, you're not doing that. No, you're not doing that. Some parents may let their children ride their bikes without their helmets. Other parents are like, you can't do that if you don't have your helmet on your head. Some parents will let their children climb a tree. Another example again that I had earlier, where some parents will have their children playing flag tackle football, which is very dangerous to me. So it all depends on how you as a parent feel comfortable with some of these things. I'm not gonna lie, some of these things I just don't feel comfortable with. I don't, especially when it comes to water activities. Do you feel like you need to supervise your children during a water activity they have? And I know you may ask yourself, it depends on the age of the child, right? I agree. But what if your child's age is between 1 year old and 5 year old? How much supervision do you think that child needs around water? You'd be surprised how many parents would act differently in these situations. Some parents just feel they need to be sitting down while they watch the child just roam about. Me personally, if a child is that young, I got to be right beside them, especially in water. Water is something I don't play around with young kids, especially. Like that's just an activity that an adult needs to be beside you during those times. There is no occasion in my mind where a child that young, ages 1 to about 5, should be roaming around water by themselves. Because I read a statistic, water is like one of the leading causes of death amongst kids around that age. So that's something that we have to really be on guard and supervise. There's been a lot of deaths concerning children and water. So around that age group, I'm like, all right, we got to really pay attention to these children. Make sure that they're being safe. Make sure they're not running around water, because that's another dangerous thing. For you to run around a pool, for example, that's something extremely dangerous. And quite honestly, with other activities, like another activity such as, let me see, let me create an activity that I haven't done it personally. So ATVs, those motorbikes, some people allow their children to go on those. To each his own. You know what I mean? But they said that there's a lot of accidents, especially children below the age of 16, that ride those vehicles and they get into serious accidents. So it's honestly to each his own, but I feel parents have to draw a line somewhere. Like there's not a lot of things that you just should say yes to. There are some things that you have to really think about and say, you know what? That doesn't look too safe. I don't think I want you on that. I don't think I want you on that. And we got to be honest with ourselves. Just because your child is capable of being more independent and doing certain activities, does this mean that you should say yes to every activity they want to do? And as a parent, you got to really be honest with yourself. Should you say yes to every activity your child wants to do? If your child wants to go sleep over someone's home, and you don't know the parents, you don't know the parents or their friends, what answer are you saying to them? Are you just going to say, yeah, go ahead, I see you home tomorrow? Not knowing who's going to be watching your kids, not knowing what kind of friends your child is referring to. I wouldn't feel safe with that. But anyway, guys, this is just a little short video I wanted to make. I'm actually going to make this into a long form video. So thank you to all people who joined, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.